once again, and thank you for joining us on the major news on the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Angel. Welcome. Now the details of the news. Political analysts has called on the House of Representatives and the National Assembly to intervene in the feud between the Rivers State House of Assembly and the Rivers State Governor. In view of his position on the Constitution, a political analyst, Asim Adams, spoke on the legality wherein the House of Reps can adopt sections of the Constitution to make laws for the state on issues of internal disputes, as it may be.
In court, because this one is talking, I'm the speaker, this one is saying, I'm not the speaker. What should happen is that let that particular section 11 sub 4 be invoked by members of the House of Reps. Ugochi, and if you listen to me, I am speaking to you directly, sir. You are a member of the House of Reps. The Rivers State House of Assembly is dismembered, is in tatters, is in comatose, is in ICT unit of the hospital. The blood level, the PCV level of Rivers State House of Assembly, instead of 32, is 3. It's an aberration. You have the right to save democracy in Rivers State, not by going on television. Invoke section 11 sub 4. The gentleman that moved that motion 2013 was not a member of Rivers State, he was from Taraba. I don't know if you are from Rivers State or from Imo State. You have that right to move the House of Reps you belong, to invoke section 11 sub 4, to take over the functions of the Rivers House of Assembly so that you be to make laws for them. Under section 11 sub 4, he says they can make all laws, except they cannot impeach the president, the governor of the state. So what are you waiting for? Because this matter is eating deep into the fabrics of democracy in Rivers State. Lawyers are divided. Lawyers have divided opinion. Even yesterday, I listened to Falana. Let me just encapsulate and end.
Meanwhile, Henry Ekine said there is no legitimate faction to any state house or assembly recognized in the Constitution except on issues of impersonation by any individual or person for whatever reasons, which he identified as illegal.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, Section 90, creates just one House of Assembly for each of the 36 states. You can't have different, you can't have factions. You could have people who probably will impersonate, who will arrogate unto themselves, as I am now, can I deplete even up to 2? And the question Nigerians have not been able to boldly answer, does that House of Assembly cease to exist? No. What happens is that there are 2 members. The 2 members will hold sway, will hold forth for the meantime for the House. But what would they do? They will notify INEC to say, look, we have depleted to a disturbing number. Please conduct election to fill those other vacant positions.
So they will conduct legislative activities.
Yes.
This is coming after faction of Rivers State House of Assembly supporting Governor Siminala Ifubara had screened and confirmed Danagogo Iboroma as Commissioner Designate. Iboroma, a senior advocate of Nigeria San, was screened today by the House led by Speaker Victor Jumbo at the hallowed chambers in the State Government House, Port Harcourt. The Delta State House of Assembly has suspended the member representing Ugeli North 1 constituency, Matthew Omonade, over alleged gross misconduct. The suspension order was pronounced by the Speaker, Dennis Emomitimi Guro, while the motion was preceded by a motion raised on the floor of the House by the Majority Leader, Emeka Nwobi Anyoche North. The motion was supported by the Chief Whip of the House, Pekinsin Umokoro Sapele, and was unanimously adopted by the House. The suspended lawmaker was alleged to have willfully and forcefully perverted the proceedings of the House, while according to the Majority Leader, the lawmaker's alleged actions violated the standing order and rules of the House, which necessitated the need for the suspension. Following the adoption of the motion, Omonade was suspended for a period of 14 legislative days and also mandated to hand over to the management of the House all government properties in its possession. Edo State Police Command has confirmed the abduction of workers of Dangote Cement Factory, Okbala, in Esako East local government area of the state on Monday. Commissioner of Police in charge of the command Fonsho Adeboye confirmed the incident to newsmen in a statement signed by the public relations officer of the command, Chidi Nwabozo, on his behalf. Adeboye said the workers were abducted at about 6 p.m. on Monday while going to Bela community in a coastal bus after the close of works of the day. Other than that, 3 persons who sustained various degrees of gunshot injury during the kidnapping have been rescued and taken to hospital for medical treatment. Meanwhile, one other victim who was earlier shot at the point of the attack and another victim, one Victor Okon, were rushed to the same hospital for treatment. President of the 10th National Assembly, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo Eno, are working towards their re-election bid ahead of the 2027 general elections. This played out days ago when the people of Ikote Bene Senatorial District declared Akpabio as a sole candidate for the 2027 senatorial race, and the event was a grand reception for the Senate President in Ikote Bene local government area of the state. Akpabio said in 2027 no one should contest, and it means it's only one candidate from the senatorial district and no other person, while Pastor Umo Eno for his ability to bring unity and peace between his administration and the successive ones. The governor urged the people of Akwa Ibom Northwest to also adopt him as a sole candidate for governorship election in 2027, having adopted Akpabio, whom he described as his political grandfather, as a sole candidate for the Senate. Akpabio, in a reaction, promised to work with the governor, Eno, to realize his aspirations. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has selected 27 sole administrators to superintend the affairs of the local government councils and the state. A statement by the Commissioner for Information, Public Orientation and Strategy, Imo State, Declan Emelumba, said the Solas will pilot the affairs of the local government until credible local government elections in the state are conducted in the next 60 days. The Commissioner also said the appointments are with immediate effect. This is the 3rd time the governor has appointed the sole administrators to oversee the affairs of the 27 local government councils and assured that the Imo State Independent Electoral Commission will conduct the LG election. However, until the dissolved Imo State Independent Electoral Commission is reconstituted, the process of holding local government elections may not be in sight. Ebonyi South senatorial candidates of the People's Democratic Party and the February 3, 2024 by-election, Silas Ono, has asserted to appeal the ruling of the tribunal that struck out his petition against the judges over alleged bias, injustice, and lack of fair hearing in his election petition. The ruling was sequel to a petition filed to the President of the Court of Appeal and copied to the tribunal panel seeking their recusal from the by-election tribunal by the PDP candidates, while the 3-man panel headed by Justice H.N. Kunaza dismissed Ono's petition for lack of merit. Delivering the ruling by the tribunal sitting in Abakaliki, Justice Kunaza, who was flanked by Justice Basi Nkanang and Justice M.O. Abola, said the PDP candidate failed to prove allegations of lack of fair hearing, bias, and injustice in his petition. Meanwhile, the petitioner said he would immediately appeal the ruling, insisting that he has lost confidence in the ability of the panel to dispense justice in the election petition by the panel, while Honours Counsel Caleb Onwe said he would immediately apply for the certified true copy of the ruling and study it for urgent actions. Meanwhile, counsel to Senator Anthony Okore, the second respondent, Roy Nweze, commended the ruling but expressed dissatisfaction that no cost was awarded against the petitioner to serve as a deterrent to anyone who tries to malign the integrity of judges. Group known as Alibo Development Foundation has called on President Bola Tinubu to address the continuous killing of innocent Nigerians by Fulani herdsmen in the southeast and other parts of southern Nigeria and the Middle Belt. The group wondered why these killers were never arrested or prosecuted by law enforcement agencies. A statement by Abia Onyike, National Secretary, said several steps must be taken by the federal government to save Nigeria from sliding into a religious war. Other than that, the consequences were bound to be very disastrous. The statement also said that beg your pardon. The statement also said that the support to the policy of ranching means that it is not the duty of the government to provide lands and financial resources for ranching facilities, as the rearing of cattle is purely a private business and should be treated as such. The group urges all those embarking on their struggles for self-determination to adopt a peaceful and non-violent approach. Other than that, the struggle for self-determination is a fight to deepen the democratic rights of ethnic nationalities. Osun State Police Command has arrested one Adeni Sunday, a manager of one of the First Bank branches in Oshobo. The Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Umar Abba, disclosed that Adeni, who resides at Army Barracks area Kelebe, Era BG Road, Oshobo, is a serial fraudster and dupe. Then he also said the suspect obtained money under false pretense to the tune of 650.8 million naira. The statement signed by the command spokesperson Yemisi said the suspect has been suspended by the First Bank Nigeria PLC, his former employers, while investigation into the case has since commenced, and the suspect and his accomplices will be charged to court upon completion of the investigation. The CP assured the residents of the state of the command's commitment to rid the state of criminal elements. Security operatives have arrested students of the University of Ibadan for protesting against the recent increment of the institution's fees. The students were arrested by the security operatives of the institution and were later handed over to men of the Joint Security Network in the state, also known as Operation Bass End. During the inauguration of the newly elected Students' Union executives, the students displayed placards with an inscription, "No to fee hike." The inauguration was attended by the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Kayode Adebowale, and other principal officers of the institution, while the arrested students include Ayodele Aduwo, Adeyeye Olorofemi, Nice Linus, and Maid Badegbeshi. Public Relations Officer of the institution, Adejoke Akinpelu, said that the rumor of the students' arrest was mere propaganda by the students. Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the Ondo State Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, the All Progressive Congress and the Independent National Electoral Commission to file the defense in a suit seeking to nullify Aiyedatiwa's candidacy in the upcoming gubernatorial election in the state slated for November. The senator representing Ondo South, Senator Jimo Ibrahim, had approached the court to void Aiyedatiwa's win from the April 20 APC governorship primary election held in Ondo State, while the court declared that Aiyedatiwa was not a valid candidate for the party because the party did not comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022. Ibrahim, who participated and was a governorship aspirant in the said primary election, prayed to the court to delete APC and Aiyedatiwa from the political parties and candidates that would participate in the gubernatorial pool, and insisted that the party did not comply with its regulations and guidelines in the conduct of the pool. The plaintiff's counsel, Chris Uche-san, said he received a memorandum of conditional appearance from APC, an INEX lawyer, but was yet to receive any application from Aiyedatiwa. Other than that, the defendants were yet to file their defense. APC's lead counsel, Tayo Oyetibo, who also told the court that they had written a letter to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court requesting for transfer of the case from Abuja to Ondo State, said he couldn't understand why the suit was filed in Abuja instead of Ondo State. Operatives of the Department of State Services have invaded an Ogun State High Court sitting in Ilaro and arrested 2 defendants despite the judge's warning. The court was presided over by Justice A.A. Shubayo, while the defendants, who were simply identified as Alhaji Isiaka Fatai and Samuel Oyero, were tried in a suit between the state and Awode Oladoshu and 13 others. The case was reported to be a result of a crisis that recently broke out in the Agu Sasha community in the Ipokia local government area of the state over an overship torso, which led to the destruction of property worth billions of naira and loss of life. And when the hearing was ongoing, operatives of the DSSS stormed the court premises and took away the suspects. Confirming the incident, counsel to Alhaji Iseka Kehinde Bamiwola, in a statement, alleged that the men of the DSSS operatives used weapons on the two, stressing that Alhaji Iseka Fatai was beaten, slapped, manhandled, rough-handled, and molested. Collaborating Bami Wola's claim, the principal registrar of the High Court and sectional head of High Court, Ilaro Omololu Olushanya, confirmed the incident, describing it as shocking and disrespectful to the rule of law, and stressed that even after the judge had ordered the operatives not to make any arrests within the court premises, they still proceeded to arrest the two persons. Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has pledged to put in place a mechanism to secure schools and prevent students from kidnappers in Kogi State. Commander National Safe School Response Coordination Center Hamid Aboduri, who disclosed this when he visited the Confluence University of Science and Technology, Osara, expressed sadness over the abduction of COSTECH students by suspected bandits. Other than that, there was need to fortify security around schools to ensure safety of students. The commander said the abduction was unfortunate and his visit was in solidarity with the management and university's community. Aboduri also said the establishment of the NSSRCC at the NSCDC headquarters was in demonstration of the government's resolve to address the challenge of school attacks and its consequences that have thrown a large number of children out of school in Nigeria. Kogi State House of Assembly is urging Governor Usman Ododo to beef up security around all tertiary institutions and the state to avert the kidnap of students by gunmen. The lawmakers gave the charge during plenary in Lokoja with a motion of urgent public importance, while the member representing the state constituency and the chief whip of the House, Sema Baba Haruna, on the motions of urgent public importance, condemned the kidnapping of scores of students at the Confluence University of Science and Technology. Osara also sympathized with the families of the kidnapped victims. Other than that, the abducted students were preparing for their first semester examination before they were ambushed by the gunmen. Supporting the motion, the minority leader of the House, a member representing Yagba East State constituency, Idou Ibikunle, decried the number of students who are still in captivity. Other than that, a business tycoon was recently kidnapped in his constituency and had not regained his freedom as of the time of plenary section. In his ruling, the Speaker and member representing Lokoja 2 retired Right Aliyu Yusuf urged the state government to support the creation of state police in a bid to address the spate of insecurities in the state. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has sealed two unapproved chemical and water companies in Lafayette and Obi local government area of Nasarawa State. The state coordinator of NAFDAC, Matthew Adoye, who disclosed that the two firms specialize in the manufacturing falsified and adulterated agrochemicals in Lafayette, said the two facilities were sealed for illegally operating in unhygienic environment without any form of registration. Adeyo also said the facilities were raided during their routine surveillance activities by the agency's regulatory officers following intelligence report, and some of the perpetrators had been apprehended and handed over to the police for investigations into their activities. The NAFDAC state coordinator affirmed that the facilities would remain sealed and prohibited from further production. Other than that, the production equipment had been confiscated by the agency and called on members of the public to report the activities of unregistered producers, distributors, and retailers of adulterated NAFDAC regulated products within their domain for prompt action. He equally advised manufacturers to comply with the agency's regulations in registering their products to avoid litigations or closure of their business premises. Federal Executive Council, chaired by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has approved the establishment of a tripartite committee to streamline visa processes and acquisition for investors interested in investing in Nigeria. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who disclosed this after the effect meeting held at the council chambers of the presidential villa, Abuja, said visa processes are becoming cumbersome and the ease of doing business is also tied to the visa processes. He also said the meeting, which began on Monday, was adjourned till Tuesday to allow for other far-reaching decisions. Speaker of the Niger State House of Assembly, Abdul Malik Asakindaji, has stopped the planned hosting of the wedding of 100 orphan girls in his constituency, saying he would not grace the occasion. Asakindaji took the decision following the action of the Women Affairs Minister Uju Ohanaya, who dragged the speaker to court to hold the wedding. The speaker, who disclosed this during a media briefing, said the minister had overstepped her bounds and should take over the sponsorship of the wedding ceremony. Other than that, he had already made funds available to the girls' parents through the traditional leaders and clerics of his constituency. Other than that, he would not withdraw the funds. Abdul Malik also said his motive for wanting to sponsor the wedding was a state of poverty of the girls' parents and not the constituency's project. Minister of Women Affairs Uju Kennedy Ohanenye has petitioned the Inspector General of Police Kayode Betoku and sought a cordial injunction to stop the Speaker of Niger State House of Assembly, Abdul Malik Sakindaji, from marrying of 100 orphan girls. This is coming after the Speaker plans to marry all of the orphan girls who lost their parents due to banditry attacks in the Riga local government area as part of his constituency project on May 24. Other than that, the gesture was aimed at alleviating the suffering of the impoverished, pledging to pay the dowries for the bridegrooms and procuring materials for the mass marriage. Kennedy Ohanye, while briefing newsmen in Abuja, described the plans as unacceptable, while a full-scale investigation has commenced on the issue. The minister, while emphasizing the need to ensure girl child education and empowerment, said the speaker did not think about empowering the women or sending them to school or giving them some kind of training support financially. The minister also said within the Child Rights Act, every child belongs to the state. Other than that, the rights of every child will be protected from harm, violence, or anything that will infringe on their rights. Christians in hundreds in Kaduna State raised their voices against the government's alleged helplessness in rescuing a lone Chibok schoolgirl, Leah Sharibu, still in Boko Haram's den since 2018. This is coming after Leah and over 100 female schoolmates at the government's Girls Science and Technical College, Dapchi, in Yobe State, were forcefully taken captive by the dreaded Boko Haram insurgents over 110 years ago. While some were released, Leah, who refused to denounce her Christian faith, remained in captivity. At the point, she was said to be married to more than 2 commanders of the sect, which had over the years unleashed terror on Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, and some parts of the northern state. She bore 3 cases for the commanders and some Christians under the aegis of the Christian Solidarity Worldwide Nigeria in a peaceful protest demanded the immediate release of Leah and other school children still languishing in terrorist camps across the north. The Christian leaders stormed the Ekowa Good News Church along Nari High Coast Chikun local government area of the state, where the peaceful protest was held, and collectively called on both the federal and state government to secure the community so that Leah Shaibu and others could go to school without necessarily ending up at kidnappers' dens. They carried placards while chanting solidarity songs as they led tea to the school, to the church, while the chief executive officer of the Christian Solidarity Worldwide Nigeria, Reverend Yunusa Madu, spoke shortly after the protest and described it as unfortunate that 10 years after the incident, Shaibu had yet to be rescued. 13 persons are feared dead following a strange disease that broke out in some communities in Zamfara State. Eyewitness said the disease affected children and women, while findings from hospitals and government indicated that a total of 505 cases were recorded across Maradun, Shinkafi, and Gusau local government areas in the state. It was also discovered that the disease had spread to Isa and Zome local government area of Sokoto in Zamfara State, where the outbreak was first detected in Sibiri village in Maradu local government area in February this year. And most parents with minor complications, most patients with minor complications have received treatment and have been discharged from the primary health care center in Sibiri. He said that the disease appears to be spreading, with cases emerging in neighboring areas, raising concerns about its containment, appealing to the government of Sokoto and Zamfara State to deploy more medical experts to the affected areas to address the situation before the disease escalated to other communities. He also expressed concern that the disease had not yet reached Maradun town. Other than that, proactive measures must be taken by the government to prevent its escalation. Police in Adamawa State says 5 men linked with a series of armed robberies and kidnappings along the New Manjalingo have been arrested. The Adamawa State Police Command, which disclosed this in a statement, said its operatives and working in collaboration with hunters arrested the suspect. The statement signed by the State Police Public Relations Officer SP Suleiman Ngoroje said a timely response yielded a positive result as 5 out of 7 were arrested, while the command's response team aggressively gave out a hot chase to the kidnappers, leading to their arrest, recovery of offensive weapons, and successful rescue of the kidnapped victims. It also said the suspects are residents of Demori and Bakin Sajo of Demsa and Songs local government areas. Suspected criminal has been apprehended. Eyewitness said a bomb was in the suspect's possession and some residents raised the alarm, and he was quickly nabbed to avoid tragedy. According to a post by security analyst Zagazola Makama on X handle, the vigilante security at the bank prevented the attack when they spotted the suspect, while an angry mob descended on the suspect and reportedly demanded that he should be killed. The suspect was later handed over to the police for proper investigation. And the son of Mama Noor, founder of the Islamic State of the West African province, Mahmoud Mama Noor, has surrendered to the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Maiduguri, Borno State capital. Mahmoud, who is 22 years of age, surrendered to the NSCDC and has been handed over to the Bulukutu Rehabilitation Facility for further documentation and custody. This was disclosed by Zagazol Makama, Lake Chad Basin Counter-Terrorism and Insurgency expert in a post on his ex-handle. Mahmoud confessed of taking part in attacks in Bama, Banki, Guza and several other places as a middle-rank fighter under the Boko Haram group. While Makama said intelligence revealed that Mahmoud was confirmed to be the senior son of the late ISWAP founder after undergoing profiling at the command headquarters of NSCDC in Maiduguri. The security expert also said men of the command had facilitated his surrendering through his uncle in Gamboro, Ngala, after receiving information that he was willing to formally surrender to the Nigerian government. You are watching the Atlantic Television Global News. When we come back from this short break, we will take the rest of the stories. Stay tuned.
From the line across across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorables,
you human trafficker.
Honorables.
We're glad to have you back, and now the rest of the stories. Labour Party says that the meeting between the East 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi and his counterpart from People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, ex-Senate President Bukola Saraki and Sule Lamido was to rescue Nigerians from their current suffering. National Publicity Secretary of the party, Obiora Ifo, said there would be more of such meetings aimed at brainstorming over the sufferings of Nigerians after Obi met with Atiku and the PDP chieftains in Abuja. However, Ifo said that the party was in support of the meeting, and the meeting was that of like-minded individuals, while additional meetings had been scheduled to occur ahead of the 2027 general election. A statement by Ifo said it was a meeting of like-minded individuals who believe that there is a need for better leadership in the nation. It also said despite the government being barely a year old, Nigeria is facing difficult times under the APC administration, which seems directionless. Labour Party's national chairman Alhaji Lamidi Apapa has urged the National Assembly to scrap the controversial immunity clause that protects state governors while in office. The faction said effort to further amend the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has sparked further debate on the immunity clause for the president and his vice, as well as the governors and their deputies. The argument said the state governors are hiding under the immunity clause to commit all kinds of atrocities ranging from financial misappropriation to misuse of official powers, flagrant abuse of human rights, as well as assassination of political opponents, among others. This is coming after some time in 2008, the late President Umar Musa Yar'Adua made a public statement in support of the removal of the immunity clause from the Constitution. Other than that, the immunity clause was encouraging corruption in the system, and that those who enjoy the immunity clause were behaving like emperors. However, there are others who have argued that the immunity clause was put in the Constitution to protect that class of public officer from undue distractions by those who may want them to fail through bringing up and unnecessary litigations against them for one reason or another. Minister of Youth Development Jamila Bayo Ibrahim says plans are underway to begin reforms and restructuring of the National Youth Service Scheme. The minister said a team to spearhead the review, restructuring and reforms of the NYSC would be inaugurated soon. Bayo Ibrahim, who disclosed this at the opening ceremony of the maiden meeting of the NYSC management with the heads of courts, producing institutions in Nigeria in Abuja, said the reforms will be centered on reviewing participants with an entrepreneurship mindset and making skills development a core of the program. The minister also said over 5,000 core members who would have their entrepreneurial ventures funded with close to 10 million naira. Adding that, the vision was not only to have a self-sustaining scheme, but also a revenue-generating program within the next 5 years. Meanwhile, the Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Shao Ahmed, said that the meeting was aimed at enhancing the mobilization process of prospective corps members, as well as evolving strategies for eliminating identified flaws and ensuring a more seamless mobilization process. Executive Secretary Tertiary Education Trust Fund Sonny Echeno says public-private partnership, which is a funding model for public infrastructure projects, an initiative was the best ways to improve public tertiary institutions in Nigeria. He discloses when the Tertiary Education Trust Fund held a one-day sensitization workshop on emerging areas of students' needs in beneficiary institutions, which drawn the attention of vice-chancellors, rectors and provosts on career service centers, teaching practice, beneficiary identity management service, and hostel development in all public institutions.
An academic and a practitioner in guidance and counseling has been selected to deliver a paper with the theme incorporating holistic approaches to career counseling that considers students' personal, academic, and professional development needs. I'm hopeful that his paper will not only throw light on the subject matter, but will also emphasize the significance of the centers and the services they are to provide for the benefit of our institutions. The workshop will further feature a presentation by the Strategic Planning Department on the third fund guidelines for accessing the Career Services Center intervention, so that it hastens the processing time in accessing the intervention funds. I'm aware that quite a good number have already applied and are already accessing, but we noticed that there is a need to also fast track for those who are not particularly sure about what the expectations are, and that clarification will be available, so that we're hoping within the next couple of weeks, everybody should begin to work towards getting their centers running. The workshop further seeks to address other equally important ICT programs and the hostel development drive using the public-private partnership model. Today's world is driven by information and communications technology, and any education system that is not ICT driven or compliant may not compete favorably in the global environment.
Sonny also said that the focus areas of the workshop will be implemented.
The workshop further seeks to address other equally important ICT programs and the hostel development drive using the public-private partnership model. Today's world is driven by information and communications technology, and any education system that is not ICT driven or compliant may not compete favorably in the global environment. This is why the fund has paid special attention to its information and communications technology roadmap that led to the development of the tertiary education research, applications and services platform, TERAS. TERAS is a centralized hub that fosters collaboration, efficiency, and innovation through the provision of a wide range of services to students and researchers. The platform was launched by the Honorable Minister of Education and have access to libraries, learning resources, databases, and Eagle Scan for plagiarism checks, among several other services that will transform our institutions into modern, digitalized centers of learning. It's also the reason why an expert has been selected to deliver the second paper with the theme, Emerging Students' Needs in Our Contemporary Learning Environment Using ICT. This is to further elaborate on the need to promote ICT-driven programs in our institutions and the inclusion of our robust student population in the scheme to gain insight on the significance of ICT in today's changing world. As I indicated earlier, the workshop will also discuss other laudable initiatives that
While the ASU president, Professor Victor Emmanuel, and the representative of the acting secretary of the National University Commission, NUC, Rita Okonjo, urged the federal government to take education seriously and argued that PDP may not work for tertiary institutions if not well implemented by the institutions. Academic Staff Union of Universities has threatened a nationwide strike and decried the failure of the federal government to appoint governing councils for federal universities. The union also faulted what it described as a nonchalant attitude of the President Bola Tinubu's led federal government to matters pertaining to academics in Nigerian federal universities. The body of academics discloses during an ongoing press briefing at the University of Abuja and faulted that the 34% salary increment for the professors and the 25% salary increment for other academics in the university system. ASU also said that it saw the increment as a wage award that could be withdrawn by the government anytime it deems fit. Speaking during the ongoing briefing, the president of the union, Professor Emmanuel Osodoke, said it has given the Tinubu-led government enough time to set things in motion. And the union was also concerned over the failure of the federal government to appoint members of governing councils for federal-owned universities. Other than that, the dissolution of the governing councils was illegal as it was against the principles guiding the existing universities. Analyst has emphasized the need for parents and guardians to caution their children to prepare for the forthcoming NECO examination. Speaking on Atlantic Television Blowout, a public affairs analyst, Magnus Edo, said parents must ensure they have their words to make good grades as the examination kicks off.
When it's time for WAEC, is when you see seriousness in some parents doing extramural classes, doing some other things to ensure that they have passed all the required exams the children are going to write. But I think like the way I operate in my own house, I used to tell my children, once you started school, tomorrow can be your exams. So get prepared. You know, it's not only exam times that you see parents talking to their children. You know, we buy handset for our children, big phones that they will be online refusing to read their books. Yes, we are in this age that we need technologies, but I think this one is not about technological-based writing exams. It's a paper that you need to read and write. And
Bosinde Araibe also said that the Nigerian educational system have lost value following the emergence of fraudulent activities among youth.
You will see the seriousness on the street. Children who naturally play, you will see how they will stop playing and start trying to prepare. But right now, I tell you the truth, nobody cares about this. Do you know why?
Tell us.
Why is because education has lost its value in the Nigerian society. People are profiting from criminal ventures publicly. And because these people are profiting from criminal ventures publicly, education has lost value.
This is coming after the National Examinations Council had released the 2024 National Examination Council Senior School Certificate Examination timetable. NECO discloses in a Monday post on its X platform. The exam is expected to start on Wednesday, June 19, 2024 and end on Friday, July 26, 2024. Nigerian troops have eliminated Tahir Baga, a top commander of the Jamaat al-As-Sunnah-led Dawa Wali Jihad, better known as Boko Haram, during an offensive operation in the Sambisa forest. The operation, code named Operation Desert Sanity 3, targeted several terrorist enclaves deep within the forest, including Babul Oman, Garim Palibita, and Lagara Angwan Guaiguan, according to intelligence sources cited by counterinsurgency expert and security analysts in the Lake Chad region. Zagazola Makama, the troops made contact with the terrorists during the offensive, resulting in the killing of Tahir Baga and some of his lieutenants, while several others fled with gunshot wounds. Baga, a revered imam within the sect, was known for his unwavering commitment to the group's ideology. Accordingly, the elimination of Tahir Baga is considered a significant blow to the Boko Haram terrorist group, as he played a crucial role in sustaining the group's operations and indoctrinating its members. President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima said they will start paying toll gates fees whenever they use airports in Nigeria. This followed the decision of the Federal Executive Council approval that there should be no more exemption granted to users of the airport from paying toll gate fees. The approval was made following a memorandum presented to the Council by the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, who argued that the government was losing over 82% of the revenue it should have earned from the e-tax that provide access to the toll gates. He also said the memoranda had initially prescribed an exemption for only the president and the vice president before Tinubu overruled and directed that both of them should be included among those that must pay the toll gates. Keyamo, who disclosed this at a post-fact media briefing, regretted that wealthy and very important persons who should pay the toll gates are those that have not been paying. President Bola Tinubu has instructed the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the implementation of the 0.5% cybersecurity levy in response to public backlash and opposition following its announcement. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris, who disclosed the suspension of the levy, said President Tinubu has directed the CBN to temporarily halt the enforcement of the 0.5% cybersecurity levy and to review the methods for its application. This is coming after members of the House of Representatives last Thursday urged the CBN to withdraw the circular directing the financial institutions to commence implementation of the 0.5% cybersecurity levy, describing it as ambiguous. Senate has adjourned Tuesday's plenary session in honor of a member of the House of Reps, Honorable Issa Dogonyaro, who died on Friday after a brief illness. This is coming after the upper chamber held a mini silence in honor of the lawmaker, who is a member of the House of Reps in line with the tradition of the chamber. Until his death, the lawmaker represented Bura Garki Federal Constituency of Jigawa State in the 10th Assembly of the House of Reps and was 46 years of age. The decision to suspend plenary was carried out in line with the tradition of the National Assembly following a motion moved by the Deputy Senate Leader, Senator Lola Ashihiro, and seconded by the Minority Leader, Senator Alba Moro. The President of the Senate, Gasila Babio, while putting the motion to a voice note, which was unanimously supported by senators, commiserated with the family of the deceased lawmaker and the government and people of Jigawa State.
Strong sadness, I wish to announce the death of Honorable Isa Dogoyaro. The Clark House of Representatives has communicated to the Senate the passing on to eternity of Honorable Isa Dogoyaro, which did occurred on Friday, the 10th day of May 2024, after a brief illness. He is survived by 2 wives and children. Until his death, Honorable Isa Dogoyaro represented Babura Gariki Federal Constituency of Jigawa State and was the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on HIV and AIDS, and also tuberculosis and malaria. I request the Senate to observe a minute silence in his honor, and please accept, distinguished senators, my highest considerations. So, this is communicated to us through our clerk. In line with our tradition, we'll observe a minute silence, and then we'll bring the proceedings to an end in honor of the departed Dogoyaro. May we rise to do so.
The upper chamber, after a minute silence in honor of the deceased lawmakers, adjourned plenary till Wednesday, May 15, 2024. Similarly, the House of Reps adjourned plenary on Tuesday in honor of lawmaker Honorable Isa Dogunyaro. The Speaker of the House of Reps, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, who announced the adjournment, said the late member who hailed from Garki in Jigawa State and represented the Burki Garki Federal Constituency passed away on Friday, 10th of May 2024, after a brief illness. Honorable Abbas described late Dogunyaro as the tribalized, very intellectual, who is dedicated and passionate legislator who served his constituents and the nation with utmost commitment. He also said the late lawmaker built strong bonds of friendship with honorable members from all parts of the country, and he is survived by wives and children. Honorable Abbas said the House would set a day aside to hold a validatory section for the deceased.
Today, we will suspend plenary. Adjourn through tomorrow, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Thank you.
The House do adjourn plenary to tomorrow.
So without any waste of time, Honorable Dogonyaro was a patriotic Nigerian who transcended ethnic and regional divides. He was a detribalized patriot, committed to the vision of a united Nigeria. May his legacies inspire us to strive for a Nigeria where every citizen, regardless of background, can thrive and achieve their full potentials. In addition to his professional achievements, Honorable Dogonyaro was a loving husband and father, survived by his 2 wives and children. To his family, we extend our deepest condolences. We share in your grief and honor the memory of a husband, father, and a patriot who gave so much of himself to the service of our dear nation. Today, as we mourn his untimely passing, we also celebrate the mark he left on our hearts and our nation. Let us honor Honorable Isa Dogonyaro by continuing the important work to which he dedicated his life. May his soul rest in peace.
Yes. Honorable Dogun Yaro passed away after a brief illness Friday, May 10, 2024 in Abuja at the age of 46. He was described as a vibrant member in the House, contributing significantly to the development of legislation, particularly in the area of HIV and AIDS. Tuberculosis and malaria control at 11 a.m. And now we are moving on to the business news. Federal lawmakers and the National Assembly are seeking amendments to the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007 to stop top officials of the Apex banks from partisan politics. The development, which is championed by the ex-lawmaker representing Abia Central Senatorial Districts, Darlington Wukocha, before he was sacked from office by an appeal court sitting in Lagos in 2023. The amendment seeks to prohibit the chairman, governor, and deputy governors of the CBN from engaging in political activities or becoming members of any political party for 3 years after service. A former governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, was drafted into the political arena in the run-up to the 2023 presidential election when a group obtained the intention and nomination forms of the All Progressive Congress for him. And while the development generated tension in the polity following the introduction of the infamous Naira redesign at the twilight of the former President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. In a bid to forestall such development, the Senate sought to ban officials of the Apex Bank from further incursion into the political arena, and the bill also proposed that the CBN's top executives, made up of the chairman, governor, and deputy governor, shall initially be appointed for a 5-year term. The amendment bill created a new board of directors for the bank, aimed at injecting a new range of expertise and ensuring robust oversight. Point of sale operators under the aegis of the national president of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria said it has concluded plans to head to court to address the legality of the mandatory Corporate Affairs Commission for its members. The president of the association, Fasai Sarafadin, faulted the directive mandating POS operators to register with the CAC, saying the move had forced the association to go to court to seek a redress. Other than that, the directive from the CAC violated the provision of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2024, which explicitly state that the Commission has no jurisdiction over individuals not operating as a company. He said, according to Section 863(1) of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2004, the Order of Enforced CAC Directive on individual POS agents operating under their name is wrong and will be challenged as it contravenes the Companies and Allied Matters Act, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2024, which explicitly states that CAC has no jurisdiction over individuals not operating as a company. Explaining the categories, it said there were 2 categories of point of sale agents, and the clampdown on agents banking in the name of CAC registration was not in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which prioritizes job creation and opposes policies that cause unemployment. And now on the national tidbit, President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, has conferred music maestro Steve Wonder with Ghanaian citizenship. Akufo-Addo, who disclosed this on his official X account, said his decision to become a citizen of Ghana is a testament to his profound respect and admiration of our nation's history, culture, and values. Describing his new citizenship as a vivid manifestation of the goals of the Year of Return, which was commemorated in 2019 as a bridge between the African peoples on both sides of the Atlantic, he called on all to draw inspiration from his legacy and strive to build a future where creativity flourishes, diversity is celebrated, and the bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood transcend all differences. Steve Wonder joined several generations of diasporans like missionaries, policemen, lawyers, doctors, health workers, writers, artists, and musicians who have committed their lives to making Ghana their home. Defining his life as synonymous with creativity and the transformative power of music, he says Steve Wonder's illustrious career spanning over 6 decades has not only captivated the hearts and minds of millions around the world with his soulful melodies and unparalleled talent, but has also used his platform to champion social justice, equality, and human rights. And now we are moving on to sports news. Now to the exciting world of sports, Super Eagles head coach Finidi George has dismissed rumors of a strained relationship between him and some Super Eagles stars. Finidi fell out with Ademola Lookman and Sadiq Umar during the Super Eagles friendlies against Ghana and Mali in March. Lookman remained as a substitute player in both games, while Umar didn't step on the pitch at all and claimed he has a cordial relationship with all his players. Triple Falcons forward Chiamaka Nnadozie has celebrated her latest award. Nnadozie won National Union of Professional Footballers Award for the best goalkeeper in the French Women's League on Monday. The 23-year-old shared the podium with Paris Saint-Germain superstar Kylian Mbappe, who won the men's version, while the Paris FC shortstopper previously scooped the French D1 Arkema version of the award. Nnadozie took his social media to express her appreciation to everyone who made it possible for her to win the award. Now moving on to the entertainment news, this agreement have trailed the death of skit maker Chidike Emmanuel, who was killed by a suspected herdsman in Abuja. This is coming after Netsin Loveline Imabong has raised an alarm, revealing that the victim was found lifeless in a mortuary. Imabong said Chidi was among 6 persons allegedly attacked by herdsmen. Meanwhile, netizens on Monday are calling for justice for Chidi. The popular animal scientist Aro Jinle said Chidi's death has left him emotional. Popular singer Tobechukwu Victor Oko, also known as Peruzzi, says Nigerians are now wiser in terms of the choice of music they consume. According to him, Nigerians are no longer tolerant of mediocre songs and urges colleagues to up their crafts or they would be dumb out of the music market. Peruzzi said Nigeria is entering a new era of quality music, while on his ex-handle, he wrote that it was clearly time for some real sweet music. This is coming after singer Rick Hassani recently decried the drop in the quality of music in Nigeria over the years. Other than that, the hit songs of years back were quality music, but the current hit songs are not very good music. Nigerian singer Tiwa Savage said her debut movie Water and Gary was conceived while she was intoxicated. She disclosed this at the pre-launch press conference held at the Light Sport Entertainment Center in Lagos. And the movie follows the story of Aisha Tiwa Savage, a young woman who has been estranged from home, returns to find her native home vastly transformed from the one she left behind. It also stars Andrew Bunton, known as Kay, while Mike Afolari is Maid and Jamina Osunde as Stephanie. The movie was filmed in Cape Coast, Ghana, and directed by Meji Alabi. And that's it on the Global News for tonight. Thank you so very much for watching. Before we go, let's take a quick look at the major stories. Analyst urges House of Reps to intercede in Rivers crisis. Labour Party faction plans to scrap immunity of governors. ASU plans strike over vastity's absence of governing councils. Federal lawmakers plan to stop CBN governors from partisan politics. Ghanaian president confers citizenship on music legend Steve Wonder. Finidi says no disagreement with Super Eagles top stars. Singer Peruzzi cautions colleagues against mediocre music. And that's it on the news. Thank you so very much for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms. We have a Twitter handle at Atlantic TV Net. We have a Facebook and a YouTube at Atlantic Television Network. We also are on Instagram at Atlantic Network. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. I am Angel Welcome, and from me is to have a splendid night rest. Good night.